Hey YouTube, how are you guys doing today? So I don't really have very many products to show you. I almost don't have any. I have a couple things that I can talk about, but I more just wanted to have a little bit of a coffee talk. And to be literal, I drank my coffee at lunch and it is already past lunchtime. It's like going on 7 at night, a little bit after 7 actually. So I want to go out, I want to tan, and I want to go for a little bit of a walk tonight, but I just felt like talking for a little bit. I feel like I've been mentioning this in videos, maybe some of them, but I feel like I do wish I could share more personal stuff, like more specific, because I do have some things that I am wanting to talk about, but I'm just like, you can't really talk about everything necessarily. I feel like a little kid. I'm like moving my hands and fidgeting, I guess. But anyway, I do feel a little bit better today than I did yesterday. I need to do like a full body tan. I did just a face tan last night, which I usually do that every day because the face fades quick. Face and the hands fade very quick. That's the only thing about a tan, not the only thing, but that's the thing about keeping up with a tan, a sunless tan, is it's like you're often chasing like the perfect tan, like I usually feel good like the night after I do a tan. I usually feel pretty good, but then it's like, the next day you're still pretty good, and then the day after that it's starting to fade, but you still have some there, and then it's like the day after that. So there was a time where I was doing it at there was a time where I was doing a tan like every other day or every 3 days. I feel like every 3 days, maybe. I have other things I'm going to talk about other than this, but I feel like every 3 days might be, it's just a lot. I mean, time wise, that's the thing. If it's worth it though, then I think it's good. But then you do kind of want to space it out, because not that if I'm going to be tan, I don't really ever want to be without a tan, but if you do it too much, then it gets to build up and it doesn't look natural. And that's one thing I learned, is it's better for it to look natural. Like you want it to look natural, So this stuff I used on the face the other night, and I didn't realize it. I showed this in my haul video. I didn't realize it though, but this stuff has a color guide to it. It's tinted. It's not shiny, like it doesn't have any glitter or anything like that in it, so that's good for me, at least for me. But it's good. I do like it because I never want anything to look like I'm wearing makeup. Like that's one thing that I definitely want to stay away from, because I'm a guy, and I know there are some guys who do like even just like very natural, to like make themselves look better. And I've put like under eye concealer on like my under eye bags before, and I know like when guys are on TV or something, they'll do that. So I'm not saying that's I'm not like trying to paint that out, like demonize that or whatever, but it's like that's not what I'm going for. I don't want to look like I just want to look natural. I just want to look natural but good. So this kind of gives you a little bit of that though, because you do get the immediate color, but it blends in with your skin. It doesn't look like you're wearing like, I don't feel like it looks like a coat of foundation or nothing, which is good. Now, if it has the color guide and the kind that you put on your body, which really this should go on your body, not on your face, but I break the rules sometimes. They do have some for your face, but I just kind of usually just use the main. I'll mix it up, but anyway. The kind that has the color guide for your body, that I like, because I don't leave it on, like I don't leave it on my body for that long. Like I think I told you in my last video, I'll do like the express tan, like 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, like I'll leave it on for 4 hours or whatever. But my goal with that is to rinse it off. With the face tan, I usually do that at night when I do my skincare at night. Like it's the last step in my skincare routine. So that I put on and I leave it on until I shower next, which I usually put it on right after my shower, so it stays with me pretty much I don't wash my face in the morning or anything like that. I shower at night, and then that's it. That's the only time I wash my face. Usually, unless I'm doing some like specific skincare thing, but usually that's not the case. So anyway, but the kind that I put on my body, though, they say you should like shower and exfoliate before you put it on. I get that. Like, I mean, you should, but I don't. I put it on before I'm gonna shower. I put it on like not right before I'm gonna get in the shower, but like I'll put it on, and then I'll like go out and go for a walk, or I'll do like a light workout, because you don't want to sweat too much when you're wearing it. That's the thing, is like you will sweat it off. You don't want to sweat too much, like, so I'm sure I've like done that before, and it kind of messes it up, so you don't want to do that. But anyway, I'm probably gonna try out this kind tonight and see how that goes. But anyway, so the other thing product wise that I wanted to talk about, well, this isn't it, but I really like what my hair is doing right now. I really actually am liking what it's doing. It's a little bit more poofy, like it's kind of more poofy, which I kind of like. I have kind of fine hair that can kind of go flat sometimes easily, and a lot of times I think I look better with like more hair, like thicker hair, like thicker. I mean, I guess it's kind of like all of us, but it's like I usually, if my hair gets too flat, I tend to not feel maybe as confident as when it's like a little bit fuller, like more poofy, you know what I mean? Like some people might think that my hair is like too poofy or whatever now, but I kind of like that. Like, I don't know, I just feel like that's usually when I feel, that's like a contributing element to usually when I feel my best, when my hair is looking thicker, like when it has a certain, I'm not like trying to deny the fact that I have fine hair or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to live in like a false reality, but anyway, so, and actually a lot of my hair is, because when I had the hair transplant, my second hair transplant a little bit over 3 months ago, they shave part of your head. So they didn't go up very as high on my head as they did on the first one, because I told them, like, look, I really don't want, I know you're gonna need to harvest hair from a portion of my head, but I really don't want to lose, like, I really don't want to shave like that much off. Like, I'd rather just not do it. If you're gonna have to shave too much off, then I'll just like not do it, or I'll just do less or whatever. So fortunately though, they were able to not shave too large of a section, and they were able to get pretty much the maximum amount that would fit on my head. They got what they needed, which was 2,000 grafts. So anyway, 2,500 is the max they can do all in one day, and they got 2,000. Like, the doctor does the incisions in the front first. That's how it's always been done with me, at least. They'll like, because they make the incision sites in your head, and the reason why they do that first, maybe there's different places that do it different, but to me it makes the most sense to do the incisions first and then go back and harvest the hair, because if the doctor can only fit like 2,000 hairs in the area where you need it, and they already harvested 2,500 hairs, then you're basically losing 500 hairs for nothing. That might not sound like a lot, but that actually is. I mean, if there's someone who is like dealing with hair thinning or whatever, then you don't want to like miss one hair, so, but that actually is like a lot of hair. So it's important that they don't take too much that they can't use. So he's like, okay, we did 2,000, so they harvested 10,000 and then transplanted, or not 10,000, 2,000 if I said 10 anyway. But I also feel, I kind of wanted to talk about some other stuff too, but I bought these things a while ago, and I look stupid when I put it on, but these are, so I don't want to put it on. I look so dumb, honestly. But it's like chin, like like it's for your chin. It's like chin straps, and you wear it when you sleep, or, I mean, don't quote me on any of this. I'm sure there's like disclaimers and stuff, but basically your mouth is supposed to have a certain position. A lot of people have heard of mewing. I feel like that's probably, if you haven't heard about it, don't feel bad, but I feel like a lot of people, I'm going to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it like you've never heard about it before, because it's not like, I feel like a lot of us have heard about it, but basically mewing is proper tongue posture where your tongue actually rests on the roof of your mouth as opposed to like not on the roof of your mouth. And a lot of us have just grown up with our tongue not resting on the roof of your mouth, but having your tongue in the right posture and having the right facial posture, it's kind of like, which I'm wearing my new shirt too, one of my new shirts, but it's kind of like having the right back posture, like sit up straight, put your shoulders out or shoulders, however they're supposed to be or whatever. And if you don't do that, then that can lead to like poor, even though having poor posture can be temporary, over time it can become more permanent and you're gonna have to like work harder to undo it. So it's kind of like that with your face. Having your tongue on the roof of your mouth is kind of like sitting up straight. So I have been practicing doing that over the years, and I have certain times where I'm more diligent with it than others. Certain times where I kind of forget, certain times where I'm like, it probably doesn't matter anyway, is it really working? Or you kind of get like doubtful of it or whatever. But then there are certain times where I am more diligent with it, so I've gotten a lot more used to doing it over the years. And I do notice that when I have a certain mouth posture, because for me it's about my tongue, but it's also about my it sounds silly, but it's also about my mouth in general. I do notice that I do feel like I look a little bit better on those days. Okay, for example, and this is the thing too, it's kind of like, it's one of those things where, I'm talking about it like you're going to see results overnight, but it's not quite like that. It's kind of one of those things you have to do it for a while, and eventually over time, it's kind of like braces. You don't get braces and then overnight your teeth are straight. No, it takes months, maybe even years of little changes, little tweaks. You're probably not going to even notice it, like in the way that your teeth look. You're probably not even going to really notice it because it's so small, but it's about being consistent over time, and then before you know it, your teeth are straight. It's kind of like that with having the tongue on the roof of your mouth and having the right mouth posture. You can do it right for 2 days in a row, but if you do it right for 2 days in a row and then forget about it, then it's not going to do you that much good. But it's funny though, because there have been times, I remember one time in particular, I won't get into the whole like story behind it or whatever, but I remember one time in particular, I was sick and I fell asleep without putting my, I wear Invisalign kind of for reasons that I'm talking about, like with mouth posture and stuff, even though that's not exactly the same thing, but I have Invisalign. I had a retainer and then I wanted to get it, and I wore my retainer consistently. My teeth were straight, but because of what I had learned about mewing, I knew that I needed to widen my palate as much as I could. So me and my orthodontist, my new orthodontist at the time, did that through Invisalign. That seemed to be the best method. I asked about a palate expander, and I won't get into the whole big thing about that. I could talk more about that because there's more thoughts I have on all that. But anyway, but I remember one day I was like so sick, I didn't wear my Invisalign, and I fell asleep probably without even like brushing my teeth. I was sick, Not that I usually do wear my Invisalign every night, but there are some nights where I skip it. You shouldn't, but like it's not just when I'm sick that I skip it, but usually I wear it. So anyway, but I remember, I don't know if it's because I was sick or if it's because I was cold. I mean, I had a fever, so it was cold outside and I was like cold inside internally. And I woke up and I was like, I want to say clenching, but that might paint a bad picture, but I was like clenching my mouth shut, which clenching sounds bad, but I actually did it. For me, it worked out in a good way where I had my mouth in the right posture. I had like my bottom teeth, my bottom mouth was pushing up my top mouth, and my tongue probably was at the roof of my mouth, because if I do that with my mouth, my tongue automatically just goes to where it needs to go. And it almost brings like this front area a little bit forward. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I remember that day I was sick, but I woke up and I didn't do my tan or anything the night before. I think it had been maybe a day or two since I did my tan, so I was due for a tan. I think I still had a little bit left, but I was due for one, but I didn't do it because I was sick, and I forfeited a lot of my normal routines. And I woke up and I felt very handsome. I felt very like I looked better than I did the night before. Like I looked better than I did the night before. My nose was even swollen because I'm still healing from my rhinoplasty. I'm still de-swelling. The swelling's still going down from my rhinoplasty. So, it's like I'm always going like this to push it down, which temporarily pushes it down, but it's going to be a while before it permanently goes down because the tissue's hardened, and usually it takes a year, but I've had a revision, so for me it's taken longer. But anyway, but my nose was swollen, I was pale, but even with all that, I woke up and I'm like, man, I actually feel like I like the way I look today. Like as sick as I was, I felt like handsome. And then I had realized it's because I had slept for X amount of hours, and I slept a lot on this particular night because I was tired and sick, so I got a lot of sleep, and I didn't have to like get up and go into work or anything like that. So I was able to sleep in, and my face looked better. My face looked better. And it was like one of those things that you might not be able to put your finger on it, but my face just looked better. I kind of figured what it was because I already knew about mewing and stuff like that, but it kind of brings, probably more than just this area, but it kind of brings like this area forward, like this. It's hard to like do it like exactly on cue, and again, it's something that you do and little by little over time. You don't just notice it overnight. I actually kind of did notice it overnight, but to get it more permanently, you got to keep doing it, and to maintain it, you got to keep doing it. But anyway, I just felt very handsome. I'm like, I usually don't feel this handsome, and anytime I feel handsome, it makes me happy in the moment. I'm like, finally, I like the way that I look, because 90% of the time, probably like 95% of the time, I don't. I really don't like the way that I look. But when I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe things are changing, and maybe the Lord has like blessed me somehow, and He did something, and He made me look better. But I'm also always like afraid it's gonna go away, because I'm like, okay, I know this is gonna go away, this feeling is gonna go away. And it usually does, but I am trying to, and I think I am like figuring out how to bring it back. And anyway, so that's why these two things come into play, because what I do, I sleep with them on, and it keeps my mouth closed when I sleep. I do have mouth tape, and sometimes I will do mouth tape, and I will notice that. I will, like, if I wake up and I have the mouth tape on, and I have this thing on, when I wake up and I like go to brush my teeth and look in the mirror, I look more handsome, at least in that moment, at least for those few minutes when my face is more like compressed. And then maybe I go on throughout the day and I start to look normal and gross again, but there is something to that. Like, when things do start to shift in the right direction, it does make me, I'm like, okay, I finally feel like good in my own skin, and I want to look good for myself and my own standard. Like, this could be a whole nother video, but I want to look good for just because I want to look good. Like, even if, it's important to be out in the world and have people see you, and like, if I didn't have anyone ever, if you're not ever having people see you or interacting with people, then that's I'm introverted too, but that's like kind of depressing, you know what I mean? To like, you do need people to share things with, and like on different levels. Like, you might have a few very close people, or like a close, like someone or a few people who you're close with, and then so there's like different levels. But even just like being out in public and going to the store and just going to work or going to school or whatnot, anyway, you need whatever, you need people to see you. But anyway, so, but even aside from that, just for me to like myself as a person, I need to like the way that I look. And like I said, probably, I'm gonna say, I'll be generous and say 10. I think earlier I said like 5% of the time. Like, I'll say maybe about 10% of the time I like the way that I look. Maybe that's like very rough and maybe even generous estimate, but I would say 10% of the time I like the way I look, and the other 90% of the time I just don't. And it's mainly my face, basically, that I just don't like. I just don't have a like, I know there's certain things wrong with my facial structure. Like, that's the thing, is like, I know there are specific, like, I know what's wrong. Like, I know what's wrong. It's almost like part of me, which I don't want anyone to do it for me without me asking, because that would be like insulting. But I wouldn't mind, like, I thought about going to like a face analysis, like Cube Studio here on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. Like, there's a thing where you can submit pictures and have them analyze your face and tell you what's, like what's good and what's bad, and what you have going for you and what you don't have going for you, and if there's anything you can do to improve the things that you don't have going for you, whether it's non-surgical or surgical or whatever. I like all that, but that's the thing, is like, I kind of already know. Like, I kind of already know what my problems are. It's like something that I'm like aware of. Not that I wouldn't ever want some outside help necessarily. Like, not, I would have to ask, like, don't anyone like do that. I don't want anyone to, like, I don't want to say this and people will be like, well, your face is to this or you're to that. Like, I'm not asking you to do that right now, so like, don't do it now. Like, that would be more like insulting than anything else. But like, if I was going to a plastic surgeon, I mean, I've asked my plastic surgeon who did my rhinoplasty, I said, okay, I've had the rhinoplasty, what else would you recommend, that would be good for me? And then that's when he recommended the lower bleph with fat transfer, which I'm not opposed to. I don't think for me, that's not like my biggest problem area. I do have a very good friend though who tells me that the lower eyes does ruin my face. Like, that is something that you can kind of see past, but like, it kind of does ruin my face, like the lower under eyes. And I get why people may say that. I don't think that's the main thing that ruins my face though. I think I have, which I don't want to go into like all my specific stuff that is wrong with the way that I look, but I have other specific things that, in my opinion, ruin my face more than the dark under eye circles. But anyway, back to this though. One of the things that I'm doing with this is and that's one thing I've decided, I'm like, I need to get more consistent about using this every night. And what I kind of have been doing though, because this is the thing, I put it on. This is where I get a little bit paranoid about stuff. I put it on, but it's like pressure on your head, because it keeps your face in the right position, and it kind of puts your face more together so your face doesn't like go too long. So I like that it does that, but then I get nervous about it like cutting the circulation off on your scalp, and your hair needs blood flow in order to exist and be healthy and not fall out. So even when people wear bonnets, I know a lot of people wear bonnets and I think they're a good thing, but like, I would get nervous about that, because if that's like tight on your scalp, I would just be nervous that would like hinder the circulation to your scalp, and then it would harm the hair follicles, So even with something like this, I have left it on all night and I've been fine, but it's like something that just is in the back of my mind. I don't want that to mess my hair growth up. Like, I don't want that pressure to stop the circulation or whatever. Like, then it's not worth it to do it if it's going to do that. But I don't think, so far I've been okay, but what I did, like kind of what I did the other night, is I'll leave it on for an hour or so, and I'll kind of get my mouth used to going together. Like, this is kind of like training wheels. It's like training wheels. Like, I'll get my mouth used to it, and then when I'm about to fall asleep, my mouth will already be kind of fixed in that position to where I can take this off, and I still can kind of just naturally maintain that correct mouth position when I sleep. And like carry, and actually I think I do carry it through, like all through when I sleep. And then I can mouth tape too. Like, mouth tape is a less, like, if you're worried about the circulation up here, at least in my mind, that's like a less obtrusive thing. So I may actually start doing that. Because sometimes I will mouth tape and use this. So I may do that. I may put this on and mouth tape, and then take this off, but leave the mouth tape on just all night, because I'm not worried about if it's just over my lips, then that's fine. That might actually be a really good way for me to do that. So See, this is good. We're solving problems. So, but I think doing that and doing that consistently, because when I look at pictures of myself, I was looking back at pictures actually to see what my nose looked like a few years ago, and I saw some pictures of myself, and in these pictures I was like more handsome than I was like now. I'm like, why do I look so ugly right now? And maybe it's because I was at that time more consistent about having the correct facial posture and doing mewing, and then you kind of forget about it, or you kind of like, oh, does it really matter, you know? But my face was more forward, like, I don't even know if I'm like doing it right now. Sometimes the way I look when I'm filming isn't the way that I actually look when I watch the footage, the film back or whatever, the video back. But it's like this part of my face goes forward more. Like, I mean, I think there is a point where it could go too forward to where you're gonna be like out of balance or whatever. But I think my issue, and most people's issue, is that it needs to go more out a little bit more. It's kind of like your face should go more like up and out. Like, I don't know, there's like a certain, I shouldn't say I don't know, because I know what I'm trying to say, I don't know how to say it, but like there's a certain upward swing that this area needs to have. Like, people are very focused on like the jawline, which is good, that's an important thing too, but there's like a certain upward swing to an extent that you need to have, that like a face, you know, like a aesthetically balanced face or whatever, like should have, like scientifically. So doing the mouth taping and then doing like the, you know, the chin straps, I guess you would call them, I don't know, that helps promote that. And is this something that like the younger, like if I did all this when I was in middle school, like a kid or in middle school, I'd probably be in better shape than I am now, because then your face is still moldable. Some people say, well, once you get to a certain point your face doesn't move, but then I actually don't believe that. I do think it gets harder to get your face to move, but your face like move is in like bones and stuff like that. Like, it's not, I don't want to get into a big debate about that, but it's like I have heard like both arguments about it, but I do believe that there is certain ability to move your face even after a certain age, like to have your bone structure actually move. I mean, think about it. If someone has a stroke, their face is going to elongate, their bone structure is going to change because of that. So you can kind of like do the opposite and get your face to go in the right direction. So that is kind of a big focus of mine right now too. I think if I can do that, and I can be consistent with that, and maybe the nose surgery can finally heal, you know, like the nose can go down more. Like it's the tip of my nose right now that is the most swollen. Like, even just doing this, honestly, even just like, I know this probably looks like silly or whatever, but even me just covering up that, like, that looks so much better. Like that, even without doing the mouth taping or whatever, like even just everything else the way it is without the stupid nose being bulbous, that looks like so much better. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I mean, I still need to do the mouth and have the correct mouth posture. This angle's a decent angle. This is like, or the best angle, you know, so plus I'm tan. I think that's the reason why I do prefer to be tan, is because having a decent tan can hide a multitude of sins. Seriously though. And then when I'm pale, there's like no hiding, you know, there's like no camouflage. So I think having a tan, for me, and for, I think most people probably feel this way, we don't realize why we like the way we look when we're tan. We think, oh, we just like being tan, which is true, but it's kind of like a filter. It kind of camouflages, it diffuses, you know, it just kind of, it's like a natural filter that you can actually wear out in the 3D world. So I think that's why, because like any nose issues I have, the tan helps mitigate that, and it just kind of, you know, it does good with that. So anyway, a lot more that I could talk about. Actually, there were a few more things that I wanted to talk about, but we are about at the half-hour mark, so I will end it here. I think this is good for me too, though, because this is something that talking about it and making these videos can help keep my focus on it. Like, I'm focused on losing weight. I'm focused on getting my facial structure better in line, because people will like you or not like you based on the way that you look. Like that's the other thing I wanted to say too, is like I'm doing all these things that I'm doing in efforts to better myself. It's for me. I'm not doing this for anyone else. I mean, it's like, it's nice if you, it does feel good if you do things to better yourself and you feel good, and then you have other people validate that. Like that does feel good. Not even in like a, like, I don't know, like there is something to that. Like that does feel good. Like think of like if a woman gets dressed up and she does her hair and makeup and puts on a nice dress, like she wants to feel that way for herself. But it's like if she has a guy say, you know, how beautiful she looks, that does feel good to her. And same for a guy and a girl. If a guy's like, you know, lifting weights and building muscle and like sprucing himself up and like, you know, even like showering and like getting ready for a date and putting on his best clothes and his best cologne and, you know, like getting together, like getting himself together, it's like, and a girl says, oh babe, you look nice, like that, like we all like hearing that. We all like, you know, everyone likes hearing that. So there is something to it with other people like validating us, that is a need that is definitely important. But it's like, first reason I'm doing it is just because I need to feel comfortable in my own skin. I want to like who I am. I need to feel comfortable in my own skin for my own standard. I've talked about this at length in videos before, at least one video maybe, but I'm doing it for myself. But people do treat you different based on the way that you look. People will, and I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, or that it should be like this, or that I'm encouraging it to be like this. This is the way it is. People will like you better if you look good. This is a thing. A beautiful soul with an ugly face is not going to be liked as much as a beautiful soul with a beautiful face. That's all. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think I did. But just in case, this is true. I'll leave you with this thought. A beautiful soul with an ugly face will not be loved as much as a beautiful soul with a beautiful face. That's not me saying how it should be or shouldn't be, or, you know, that one is better or not than the other, but that is true. It may not be politically correct, but that is true. So the way that you look is, yeah, I mean, it's important for me, but like also, I mean, like you know, anyway, you do have people write you off more, and you're like, I know if I looked better, I wouldn't be written off the way I was. So there is something about it that impacts other relationships and stuff too. And people are gonna say, oh, it's confidence, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It's not that there's nothing to confidence, but no, it's the way that you look. It is a lot of it is just purely, anyway, I could go on about that, but we will maybe save that for another video. I gotta go put my tan on, go for a walk. I still got other stuff I gotta get done tonight, but I did want to take time and make this video. So thank you for watching. I will see you in my next one.